Hi, my name is Gabe Arnold. I'm the founder and CEO of Business Marketing Engine. And today I want to share with you how you can remove friction for your customers and increase your profits. So stay tuned and I will share this with you. So this concept of removing friction is something that a friend of mine shared probably last year at this point, but it really stood out to me. And he and I are both huge Apple fans. So I always joke and say we're an Apple family here. I have MacBook Pros and iPads and iPhones and iMacs and all the things Apple, because I really enjoy the customer experience. And one of the things that Apple does really well is they study how their customers behave and then they remove and reduce friction. And so every time there's a new iOS update or a new update for the Mac operating system, I'm always excited to load it up and try it because there's always improvements. And so as an example, one of the things that I was using some of the time on my iPhone was sending people voice notes and text. And you used to have to hold down a voice note button while you were talking, and it worked fairly well most of the time. So I used it some of the time. But in the latest iOS update, they actually made it so you can just tap a button, you can talk as long as you want, and then it's sitting there. And if you want to send it, you can click send. So they just made a little change, so I don't have to hold that button down the whole time I'm talking, and that reduced some friction for me. So I use the feature more. When we think about our businesses, our job is to continue to refine and hone and optimize how our businesses operate. Having a business, in some senses, I've used this analogy and many people other have too, it's kind of like having a kid. It's something you created and you have the opportunity and the responsibility to train it, to grow it, to make it as healthy and strong as it can and should be. And so if you think about friction in your business, there's two sides to the friction. There's friction points for your team that slow things down and make it hard. And there's friction points for your customers that slow things down or make it hard. And instead of pretending that those things don't exist, it's really healthy and wise to survey your customers and ask them, what areas could we improve? What areas feel frustrating or like friction points or challenges? However you phrase that or however you typically speak with your customers, just ask that question. Ask the same question of your team, like what things are challenging internally that are difficult or a pain or create friction, and how could we remove some of those or all of it? What can we do to improve that? When you ask those questions, even if you don't have the answers, and even if the answers don't come immediately, you put your mind in a state and your subconscious in a state where if you ask yourself, how can I make this smoother? How can I remove friction? Your subconscious is going to work on that for you. So writing that down in front of you, journaling about it, talking to team members, thinking on it, meditating, taking a walk while you're thinking about it, that will help you uncover solutions that you haven't thought about before. And the reason that we want to remove friction is we want to make it easier for our team to deliver amazing results to our clients. And we also want to make it easier for our clients to use our services more than they do now. Because when we get engagement, when we get usage, that's when we get people to stay with us for a much longer period and they get better results from it. If you think about anything you use on a routine basis, maybe it's your smartphone, maybe it's a piece of software you use, maybe it's a social media platform you really enjoy. All of those platforms and all of those businesses that created those solutions have found ways to make it so that it's easy for you to use it on a continual basis. Because if something is extremely challenging or has these really frustrating roadblocks, then it creates a negative emotion for you and it creates work that you don't feel like you should do. Maybe you should do it or not, but the feeling is important in this case. And so when you think about those tools and services and those companies you work with that make things really smooth and have very low friction, it's much easier to stay engaged with them. Whereas if you think about a process or tool or software or solution or company you've tried to work with and everything is tedious and difficult, you're likely going to give up on it, forget it, push it off, procrastinate, because you don't want to expend the energy, either physically or mentally or emotionally, to push through that challenge. So our job as business owners, as entrepreneurs, is to find ways that we can improve how things run for both our customers and our team. And also to really look at like what points of friction exist today that could be removed now or in the future. What I always recommend and what I try to do, and something that we're in the process of implementing even more, is look at on a quarterly basis, look at your company, look at what's working, look at what's not working, and identify maybe your top 3 internal and external friction points, and then create a plan with your team and get feedback from your customers and find a way to remove those friction points. Whether it's making your meetings way more effective and shorter, so there's less time usage, so there's lower friction there. Or maybe it's taking an involved, challenging process where you onboard clients and you ask them to do a bunch of stuff in the onboarding and you break that down into smaller steps. Or maybe your technology really needs an investment and an update because it's a little dated and there's just things that don't make sense anymore, or there's just antiquated ways of doing it. Whatever it is in your business, when you take time to invest the thought work and the financial and time investment in removing friction, those are the steps that lead us forward and help us create a smooth and amazing customer experience. And that's what allows us to really grow and scale and also retain our customers and create raving fans from our customers. And so I hope this has been useful to you today. I always want to show up and give you as much value and support as I can through the show. So what I'd ask for you today is think about how to remove friction. And the second thing I ask you is, what friction could I remove for you? What else would you like to see in the show? What would make this easier to consume? What kind of topics would be helpful for you? All of that feedback is super valuable to me because my intention is to show up and serve you at the highest level and help you truly build an engine that will market your business and help you scale on a consistent basis. I appreciate you taking time to tune in and be on the show today, to be here with me today. And I look forward to seeing you on next week's show. Have a great weekend.